Get off my fucking TV and save me the misery. And all you fucking goons, just grab a cold beer. The man of the hour is finally here. JD from New York, 206. It's time for Off the Script. JD from New York, 206. It's time for Off the Script.
What is going on, guys? JD from New York here. Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel. This is, of course, the #1 fucking podcast right here on YouTube.com, as well as iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher Radio, Audio Boom, and Google Play Music. This is Off the Script, episode 168, part number 2, for your Saturday, May 6th, 2017. We got a lot of stuff to go over today, guys. I got a few important announcements as well concerning the IRW network and a brand new sponsorship that came to me as of yesterday. So we're going to talk about that a little bit before we get into the news and rumors. If you missed part 1 of Off the Script, where we discuss the hack of Charlotte Flair, nudes leaked on the internet, amongst other things, including Shinsuke Nakamura versus John Cena being rumored for WrestleMania 34. I pitched the idea that I think it would be better at SummerSlam rather, instead of WrestleMania 34. Cena and Nakamura, SummerSlam 2017. Then we get into what we all really want, Nakamura versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania 34 for the WWE Championship. If you missed that, link will be in the annotation that you see right on the screen in front of you, in the top right corner of the screen, as well as other videos you might have missed during the week, including Raw, SmackDown, and NXT review, as well as the Payback review from last Sunday's Payback pay-per-view. Let me get into this IRW network thing, man. Nick Hausman, Erick Bischoff's partner on his podcast, called me yesterday, and we went over the details of how the website is going to work. Now, if you guys are not familiar with the IRW network, Erick Bischoff and Nick Hausman are bringing me on board to create content for their launch on June 1st. It's going to be, and this is the simplest way for me to put it, it's going to be a centralized hub of all wrestling podcasts, independent wrestling promotions. It's going to be a centralized location. It's going to be like the Mall of America. Erick Bischoff told me that's the easiest way for him to describe it to me. It's the Mall of America, you know, for the wrestling community here on the internet, man. Whether you guys want a little bit of something in the podcast world, whether you want something, you know, from the independent scene, it's all going to be there, man. And I am going to be a part of it. I'm going to be one of many channels that you guys can support and subscribe to on a monthly basis. Now, all you have to do right now, you guys can actually sign up for free right now up until June 1st. When June 1st comes, things are going to change. So right now, if you go to irwnetwork.com, you guys can sign up free to the service, and you can check out what is on there right now. I put up an older Off the Script video as a teaser, as a coming attraction as to what is to come as far as my content goes, and I used a video that I did a few weeks ago, which I was very, very proud of. I thought it was very well spoken and very direct and to the point and very passionate. I used the Vince McMahon exposed Mauro Ranallo, the real reason why Ranallo was let go from WWE, or forced out of WWE. That was an Off the Script extra about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. So I uploaded that for new fans on there so that they get a taste of what is JD and what is Off the Script. I thought that was the best video I've done in a very, very long time. So that is on there right now. If you guys have seen it already on YouTube, congratulations. If you guys have not seen it, you know, all the new eyes that are on the IRW network, you guys can go check it out. It's right on the homepage. So, you know, you guys are going to get a taste of what JD is all about. And I did it in video form. I can upload in video form or I can upload in audio form. I have the best of both worlds, man. So it's going to be really, really special. And I hope a lot of you guys hop on board the IRW network, because I have plans in motion right now. All I got to do is do the research and backtrack a few decades, because I'm going to be doing off-the-script retro. That's the one thing I want to make exclusive to the IRW network. We're going to be doing off-the-script retro. I'm going to be reviewing older pay-per-views in chronological order, as well as going over storylines and what I thought of the storylines and the characters and the situations at the time and what the rumors were back then. It's going to be really, really special off-the-script edition or expansion of Off the Script. So I want you guys to be a part of that, man. So June 1st, you're going to be able to subscribe. I don't know what the going rate is going to be. Bischoff said it could be $1.99, $2.99, but it's honestly pocket change per month to get exclusive stuff that you're not going to get right here on YouTube, man. So everything that you see here as far as this, as far as Off the Script Extra, as far as pay-per-view reviews and Raw reviews, SmackDown, NXT, all that stuff, it's going to be the same. I'm not changing anything about the YouTube format. I hope to God that YouTube gets their shit together and starts paying us the way we should be paid, because it's not really fun to see your analytics fucking one day normal and then the next day absolutely zero. You know, and I'm still having a lot of people fucking come to me and say, JD, I got 8 ads, I got 0 ads, I got 8 ads, I got 0 ads. It's all over the fucking place. So I don't know what's going on with that, and that's the reason why Erick Bischoff is creating the IRW network, because YouTube is in a dark period right now, and people are abandoning ship at a alarming rate. So it's IRWnetwork.com. Make sure you guys go and check that out. You can sign up for free right now, all the way up until June 1st. Off the Script Retro is coming. That's one thing I wanted to get out of the way. Number 2, I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart that watched my Patreon-only video yesterday. It was a very emotional video, and I want to make sure you guys understand where I'm coming from. I'm not doing what I'm doing on purpose. I'm not uploading late on purpose. There is a reason for my my attitude scaling back on what I do here, man. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I am not in a mood where I am desiring to upload anything right now. If I could take 2 weeks off, if I could take 3 weeks off, I would. I honestly would. But I know that would do me no good, because I got to pay the bills. And YouTube, I rely on YouTube's ad revenue to get me through the month, because, you know, what I do in real life isn't really doing anything right now. But I want to thank everybody for your beautiful words, for your encouragement, for your emotional words. Thank you guys so much. I really do have the best fans anywhere as far as any podcast goes. And I owe you guys an insurmountable amount of just love back right at you, man. I don't even know what to say, but thank you guys for everything, and I'm gonna continue to try to upload the best that I can and on time. Just realize I'm going through a very difficult time right now, and in a period where I'm trying to remain as strong and hopeful as possible. So I'm not gonna talk about what I'm going through right now. Some of you already know. But it is what it is, man. So just keep in mind, I will be here. I'm not going anywhere. Just understand that it's a little bit difficult right now. So if you don't see Off the Script at the normal time, you know why. Okay, it's not that I'm not going to upload Off the Script. Everything will be uploaded, but I'm going to scale back when I see fit, because some days I just don't feel like sitting in front of this microphone, and some days I just don't feel like putting on a good face, man. So that's all I'm going to say about that, okay? Number 3, LootCrate dropped me from SlamCrate. They're not going to be sending me any more promo boxes to unbox for you guys. They said it could change in the future, but as of right now, they are cutting off the supply that they send to me to open for you guys. I am still partnered with LootCrate. I'm just not going to get boxes to showcase to you guys to entice you to buy, okay? For whatever reason, I don't know why, we have an amazing audience here. I guess not enough people were picking up on it, or not enough people were signing up through my unique link. Whatever the reason is, I'm still partnered with LootCrate. Okay, you guys can go to trylootcrate.com/offthescript and use the coupon code JDFROMNY. You're still going to save 10% off. I'm just not going to be getting boxes to unbox for you guys on the podcast. But who did reach out to me yesterday was WrestleCrate USA. The new owners reached out to me yesterday, and they want me on their promo list to unbox crates monthly. And I said, absolutely. LootCrate was the first sponsorship that I really got when Ed, the former owner, and his family took over. I don't know what happened with Ed. I hope all is well with him. I hope he's in good health. I know the reason why Ed and his family couldn't take over is because of family problems and you know, someone in the family, which I do believe was him, was having health problems, and he couldn't really honor the monthly workload. But the new owners reached out to me, and they will be sending me a promo box for May. So we will be doing Pro Wrestling Crate unboxings, That Wrestling Club, which I love, unboxings, and we will be doing WrestleCrate unboxings. So my coupon code for WrestleCrate is still valid, man. All you got to do is go to WrestleCrate.com. Simple as that. And the coupon code JD sent me is still available. That's 10% off. WrestleCrate USA. I do believe if you guys want to check out the WrestleCrate UK, you guys can use the coupon code over there as well. JD sent me for 10% off. Pro Wrestling Crate and all that stuff will be, you know, will be still here on the channel. WrestleCrate and not Barbershop Window. That Wrestling Club, and we have Pro Wrestling Crate. I'm sorry, brain fart. You know, lost train of thought for a second. If you guys want to support the podcast, Barbershop Window, like I just mentioned, barbershopwindow.com for your t-shirts. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript, and 9 different designs on there, and they ship worldwide, man. Great fucking t-shirts. We are officially partnered with Barbershop Window and, most importantly, Pro Wrestling Tees. That's barbershopwindow.com/offthescript for your t-shirts. Still got to reach out to my boy who's making that Charlotte design. I've slacked off, but I told you guys why I've been scaling back a little bit, but I got to reach out to him and get that Charlotte design up there. It's almost completed. Hope you guys enjoy that one, coming soon. Another great way to support the podcast is Audible. Audible is giving everybody 30 days free to try their service out. As you guys know, it should be ingrained in your mind, man. audibletrial.com/offthescript. 30 days free to try their service with 1 free audiobook of your choice. And that includes over 180,000 books on their website, man. AJ Lee's book, Crazy is My Superpower, is the most popular one right now. You guys are still loving the Daniel Bryan book. I listened to Solid Monster's podcast for about 30 minutes yesterday. He mentioned that Justin Roberts' book is coming to Audible. So if you guys want to save and wait on that, you guys can hook it up with Justin Roberts' new autobiography. Jim Ross, you guys can even pre-order Jim Ross's new book coming out in October with Audible. So there's a lot of good stuff coming. If you guys don't like the wrestling-related content, like I said, over 180,000 books to choose from. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Compatible with iPhone and Android devices. Do it. It's a great way, man. Absolutely great way to support the show, and it's absolutely free. And if you guys want to cancel within the 30 days, you get to keep your audiobook no matter what. And finally, guys, you guys know the deal. Patreon, my fucking patrons, man. I love each and every fucking one of you. Hope you understand where I'm coming from with the video that I uploaded there yesterday. Patreon.com/JD-from-NY206. As little as $1 a month goes a long way, man. So make sure you guys check that out. Read the mission statement. And if you guys want to support monthly, Patreon.com/JD-from-NY206, man. Thank you for all of that. Just wanted to get all that information out there because those things happened yesterday, and it's beneficial to you guys as well as me. But we're going to get into the news right now, man. I want to take a little break here. I'm going to step away. You're going to see an in-video edit here if you guys are watching on YouTube. One other thing, if you guys are listening on iTunes, please subscribe. It's free to subscribe to Off the Script on iTunes. Leave a comment and a rating on there, man. It boosts us up the iTunes podcast chart for sports and recreation. That would really mean a lot to me if you guys are listening on iTunes. Podbean, Stitcher Radio, Audio Boom, and Google Play Music as well. But iTunes is the one that I focus on the most. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, at JD from NY206, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel down below. It was a shitty day yesterday for subscribers. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but we didn't move the needle at all with subscribers as far as that goes. But hit that subscribe button if you guys want the best fucking wrestling podcast right here on the site, and hit that bell so that you guys get notification when I go and upload a new video, man. So that is that. I am going to take a little break, step away for a little bit, and you're going to see an in-video edit, and then we're going to get right to the news and rumors right here on part 2 of episode 168 of Off the Script.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Broken Man Hardy. This is JD from New York. Actually, delete to JD from New York. I am Cletus Vessel. Make sure to check out his wonderful show, Off the Script. It's absolutely delightful.
I'm going to start off with this rumor, man. The Cruiserweight Championship at Extreme Rules obviously will be defended Neville still the Cruiserweight champion in a feud right now with Austin Aries. And the Extreme Rules pay-per-view will take place on June 4th in Baltimore, Maryland. There are rumors already circulating on what some of the potential matches could be. Now remember, this is a Raw exclusive pay-per-view event. As we saw at Payback, Austin Aries had the Cruiserweight Championship won until Neville dragged the referee and pulled the referee down on top of him as he was in the last chancery. So the referee deemed that a disqualification. Champion's advantage. Neville retains the title. Austin Aries wins by disqualification. So that was pretty much a way for WWE to continue this feud heading into their next Raw exclusive pay-per-view. And Neville retained the Cruiserweight Championship. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter speculates that Aries will get another shot at the Extreme Rules event. Also, with the way that finish went down at Payback, it is expected to be some sort of gimmick match where Neville won't be able to get himself disqualified to retain the title. TJ Perkins, who had a name change on Monday Night Raw, who now goes by the name TJP, could find his way into the match in some way based on his recent involvement. And we'll have to see what happens with Neville and Aries. It's unclear what his role will be, but he is expected to be involved in some way. We have to wait and see what happens over the next few weeks as WWE builds towards this event. As of right now, WWE's priority is SmackDown and getting us to Backlash as well as TakeOver Chicago. So I pitched the idea of Neville and Aries actually having a ladder match for the Cruiserweight Championship. I think that would be the end-all, be-all, and the best way to book this match. It gives Aries and Neville even more so to do and expand on with this feud. It will be something that we haven't seen with the Cruiserweights as of yet. And with the Extreme Rules pay-per-view and the stipulations of the pay-per-view, meaning that it is the one night out of the year where WWE gets extreme, in their own words, I think that would be the best way to do it. You know, they could go the typical route of a last man standing or a false count anywhere, no DQ. But I think if you really want to add some spice to this feud, after we've seen it pretty much go to these types of lengths and has been very competitive, I think putting both of those guys in that type of environment would be very good, not only for the pay-per-view, but for the entire squad over at 205 Live. It would really enhance this feud as we see the conclusion of it, and it would bring a lot of eyes and a lot of spotlight to the Cruiserweight Championship. I think that's the best way to go about it. I do not want TJP in this. You could save TJP for Austin Aries after he wins the title, because this is what the road is leading to. It's leading to Austin Aries winning the Cruiserweight Championship. Now that Aries is a face and TJP is a heel, you know, I think that would be a great way to start Austin Aries' reign as, you know, a Cruiserweight champion. So I think that's what's going to be. I think that's the best way to go about it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Austin Aries versus Neville at Extreme Rules for the Cruiserweight Championship in a ladder match. And I hope it does end up going that way. Speaking of Backlash, there are rumors about the SmackDown's women's division for Backlash and the match that will take place in a couple of weeks. It was shaken up with the Superstar shakeup. Charlotte Flair moved from Raw to SmackDown. As you guys know, Alexa Bliss was moved from SmackDown to Raw. Natalya, Carmella, and Tamina make up what WWE is calling the Welcoming Committee. I don't know why we need a Welcoming Committee 3 weeks after Charlotte has already appeared on SmackDown. She's already engulfed in the trenches, bro. We don't need a fucking Welcoming Committee, okay? She is a SmackDown superstar. It's not like it's her first fucking day on the job. And what a fucking terrible name. The Welcoming Committee, man. You know, leave it to WWE to fucking say something one night and then just stick to it with absolutely no creativity behind it whatsoever. The trio have been wreaking havoc in the women's division over the past few weeks, making lives difficult for Charlotte, Naomi, and now Becky Lynch, as we've seen on SmackDown Live. Now, WWE looks to be setting up a six-man tag for Backlash. Charlotte, Naomi, and Becky versus Carmella, Natalya, and Tamina with James Ellsworthless. According to recent rumors, that is the plan, and is looking to be for the upcoming Backlash pay-per-view. Instead of the SmackDown title being on the line, we are expected to get a tag team match, the one that I just mentioned. With her booking over the past few weeks and her inclusion on the team of Naomi and Becky, Charlotte has officially turned babyface on SmackDown Live. Whether this is a long-term thing, we will have to wait and see, but rumors do suggest that Charlotte will be booked as a top babyface moving forward because WWE wants to cash in on her popularity, and they think that she could be a very, very good babyface, and WWE wants to push that forward with her name being so prominent on WWE television. And she did get a decent reaction on SmackDown Live. I gotta be honest with you. Coming out in what was looking like a handicap match with Natalya and Carmella versus Naomi, the welcoming committee attacked Charlotte in the back, and it looked like Charlotte wasn't going to make the match until the closing sequence of the match where Charlotte came out, her theme music played on the PA system, she hopped up on the apron and made the hot tag to Naomi. She did get a very, very good babyface reaction, which I was surprised about. So this might end up working out in the long run for Charlotte and WWE, but I will always see Charlotte as a better heel than a babyface. But it's certainly better than turning Becky into a babyface, or into a heel rather, because Becky right now to me just reeks babyface. I don't see how WWE can really make Becky into a believable heel. I don't think she's ready for that on the main roster yet. She did play a good heel in NXT, she did, and I liked her attitude. But Becky right now to me, I've always seen Becky as that underdog, come from behind, you know, get the crowd behind her type babyface. But you got to think of SummerSlam coming up. WWE at some point has to think long-term booking. What is the biggest match for SmackDown Live right now for SummerSlam? That is Charlotte versus Becky Lynch. Now, you could do that match as two babyfaces. You could. There's nothing in the rule book where it states you can't have a babyface go against a babyface. You know? But Charlotte as a heel versus a underdog trying to overcome all odds babyface Becky Lynch, I think is money. But again, there's nothing in the rule book that says babyface Charlotte cannot go one-on-one with a babyface Becky Lynch. That is the biggest match that you can have right now from the women that are on your roster for SummerSlam, and WWE more than likely is going to go and book in that direction. We just don't know if this Charlotte babyface run is temporary, then she's going to turn again and try and take the title back from Naomi. I don't know. Maybe she's using this to get in with Naomi and kind of befriend Naomi, gain Naomi's trust. And then before you know it, that Ric Flair comes out in her and she starts styling and profiling all over the place and reveals her true self and reveals her true intentions. I don't give a shit about Naomi. All I want is the championship. And if I got to fucking break friendships here, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that title back. You know, and then Becky can come on in and, you know, stand up for Naomi and stand up for what is right, because that's what she does. And then boom, you got a women's championship match for Charlotte and Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. So that's the rumor right now. More than likely it will be official starting on Tuesday, being that I believe, you know, how many more weeks we got? We got 2 more SmackDowns left to go. Either one of these 2 weeks has got to be announced. But that's where they're headed right now, and it's clear as day. You can just watch the program weekly every Tuesday and see where they're going with the women's match at Backlash. Moving on here, man, there's other news and notes that I want to get into before we get into the big story here. I'm going to go over this. This is quite interesting. Dean Ambrose, former WWE writer for the company, tells us and reveals that there was a pitch for Dean Ambrose's main roster debut that was rejected. So his main roster debut was something completely different than what we got. Former WWE writer Kevin Eck wrote an article for PressBoxOnline.com, and it was interesting to say the least. Eck worked for WWE on the creative team from 2011 until 2014. As you can imagine, he has some great stories and some great ideas that never came to light on WWE television. One of these ideas came from him and was his way to try to get Dean Ambrose on WWE's main roster. This was obviously before The Shield made their debut in 2012 at the Survivor Series. Now, the premise of this idea is what he called and titled Dean Ambrose and AJ Lee hook up in a mental institution. During AJ Lee's storyline with Daniel Bryan, he wanted her to actually go into a mental institution. During her stay, she would meet Dean Ambrose. Here is the pitched idea from Kevin X's point of view. And I quote, "Meanwhile, the creative team was looking for a plan B to bring Ambrose from developmental to the main roster. Plan A worked shoot angle with Ambrose and Mick Foley engaging in a war of words on social media, was scrapped after Foley legitimately took issue with something Ambrose said about him." I remember that, and I was very excited to see that because the way, Moxley was down in, I don't know if it was NXT or FCW at the time, but he was very Mick Foley-esque. He played more of that lunatic than we have ever seen on WWE's main roster. Right now, it's nothing but a fucking comedic spin on being a lunatic. That's why people have soured on Dean Ambrose, because he's gone so far away from what he was down in developmental. I was very much looking forward to that. I was very excited about that Foley inclusion there. I seen a lot of a young Mick Foley in Dean Ambrose. And that's when Foley was still capable of giving us at least one more match. I thought that was going to be Ambrose's big break onto the main roster. I thought we were going to get something like what we seen back in the heyday with Mick Foley, going hardcore all over Dean Ambrose and giving us that as his introduction to WWE's main roster. Now, I don't know what was said about Mick Foley from Ambrose. I don't remember what it was, but I remember the interaction that they had, and I believe they even had a face-to-face down in developmental. My idea, he says, was for Bryan's plan to have AJ committed to a mental institution actually succeed. We'd take her off TV for a little while before bringing her back in dramatic fashion. She would return with her new boyfriend, Dean Ambrose, whom she had met while both were patients in the institution. Ambrose and AJ would wreak havoc, becoming WWE's version of Bonnie and Clyde, or Mickey and Mallory, to use a less dated analogy. This pitch was ultimately rejected by none other than Vince McMahon, who made AJ the general manager of Monday Night Raw instead. We have to wonder how changed the landscape of WWE would have been if this is how Ambrose would have made his debut. This could have worked. This really could have worked. I understand Ambrose was the centerpiece of the Shield. He was the talker. He was the guy behind the Shield. He was the main guy up front who did a lot of the explanation for what the Shield is and what the fuck they're doing. Rollins had his say as well, but he is the one who molded the plans. That's where he got the name The Architect from, Roman Reigns, when we all actually liked Roman Reigns, was the silent assassin type. He was the Diesel of the Shield. He looked cool, he wore sunglasses, he said little, and he just fucking spoke with his actions. And when he did speak, it was very quick, and it was very impactful because he didn't need to say much. He was intimidating, as is, standing in the background behind Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Now, this could have worked. I would have been interested to see this work. Ambrose come up with AJ and begin a feud with Daniel Bryan. Can't go wrong with that, man. Especially the most important aspect out of all this, if it was able for Ambrose to keep his lunatic character going. Not what we see now. The lunatic fringe. It's nothing but a fucking marketing ploy to sell t-shirts, the lunatic fringe, the Ambrose Asylum. There's nothing crazy about Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose, the character, is a joke. He's a joke. He may be Intercontinental Champion, but there's nothing crazy about Dean Ambrose. He doesn't even show any craziness in his repertoire when he's in the ring performing. There's nothing crazy about Dean Ambrose. WWE has taken the term lunatic and has watered it down so much to the point that it's nauseating. If you really wanted Ambrose to succeed, you would have kept what he had going in FCW NXT and brought that to the main roster and built upon that. I always seen from the days in developmental with Dean Ambrose, I always seen a mix of Roddy Piper. I always seen a mix of Mick Foley. I always seen a mix of Brian Pillman. Why would you steer the direction of that type of character away from that? That could have been so successful. No, but Vince McMahon's better idea was, oh, we'll make AJ the general manager of Monday Night Raw. Who gives a shit? It's not like the Shield would have never happened anyway. The original Shield was supposed to include Cassius Ohno, Rollins, Ohno, and Reigns. Dean Ambrose didn't need to be a part of the Shield. He ended up being a part of the Shield, and I'm not gonna tell you that I didn't enjoy what they did with Ambrose, Reigns, and Rollins, but if you wanted the best of both worlds here, Ambrose could have went on his own and had that Piper, Pillman, Foley-esque character with a beautiful woman by his side, letting that lunatic asylum, that Ambrose asylum shine through, and you could have still kept the Shield. You could have still gave us Ohno, Reigns, and Rollins. That was CM Punk's original Shield. Oh no, was it? No, I'm sorry. It was Rollins, Ohno, and Ambrose. Reigns wasn't even in the Shield. WWE wanted Reigns in the Shield because of his look and him being the chosen one. But at least we would have got some of CM Punk's Shield with Cassius Ohno there, and it would have included Roman Reigns. WWE and Punk would have got both what they wanted. And we would have got the Ambrose that we still, desire. We don't know where he went, and he ain't coming back. I like this idea. I thought this would have worked out. It's different. It's creative. Something that we don't see on WWE right now. Let me know what you guys think about that. I really like that, and I thought it would have worked, and we still could. We still could have got just as impactful a Shield without Ambrose there. That's just my take on it. Speaking of WWE writers, I don't know if yes, it's from Kevin Eck. Again, he even revealed some storylines that were pitched, that were rejected for Cody Rhodes. Kevin Eck, again, via PressBoxOnline.com. As you guys know, he worked from 2011 to 2014. We already talked about his interesting idea that was pitched and rejected about Dean Ambrose. This is what he had to say about Cody Rhodes. There was a romance of Cody Rhodes and Caitlyn that was pitched back in 2013. Eck had the idea to pair WWE diva Caitlyn and Cody Rhodes together as an on-screen romance. This is when he was teaming up with Damien Sandow. Here is the pitch, and I quote, Rhodes and Caitlyn would begin dating, causing Sandow to resent her for putting a strain on his bromance, and for her trying to change Rhodes by encouraging him to abandon his villainous ways. Having to choose between a love interest and a close friend is something a lot of people could identify with. End quote. Vince eventually scrapped the idea when the Bella Twins returned and were paired with Sandow and Rhodes instead. Yeah, because that was so much better, Vince. Here's another one. Cody and Brandy Rhodes as the new Goldust and Marlena. Not sure how that would have turned out, but I don't know if that would have been a main event level talent for Cody Rhodes. It never took Goldust to those heights. Goldust was never put in main events. He was never headlining pay-per-views. He was always in the mid-card. He made a great Intercontinental Champion, and the same would have been said for Cody Rhodes if he played a new Goldust. And you gotta be quite frank with yourself, man. Brandy Rhodes wouldn't have held a candle to Terry Runnels. She's attractive and all. She's a beautiful woman, but, nobody would be on the same level as what Marlena brought as far as just appeal and sexuality to that Goldust character. That's just my honest take on it. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but Marlena was just as a big deal, you know, to that gimmick as Goldust was, just because of what she brought to the table. Cody Rhodes would turn on his brother Goldust. This would turn him heel and create the Stardust character. Cody's real-life wife, Brandy, would have been revealed as the one behind his turn, and they would have become a modern version of what Goldust and Marlena were all those years ago. And I quote, "It's revealed Brandy was the one who planted the seed in her husband's mind that his brother was using him to stay relevant and keep him from becoming the star of the team. Brandy's plan for Stardust to become bigger than Goldust ever was, and she adopts a look and mannerisms as Marlena did for Goldust, who was his wife and valet at the time." Now, that take is quite interesting, but like I said, it would have never gotten Cody to break through the glass ceiling. It would have followed the same path as his brother. It would have followed the same path as Goldust. It would have been mid-card only. That type of gimmick and that character has an expiration, and it has a ceiling. Cody now is a bigger star than he ever was, and WWE looks like fools for letting him go. Apparently, he signed with Ring of Honor because he gets to keep his independent dates. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. He can sell his merchandise wherever he wants, but he can wrestle Ring of Honor as well. So, Cody now, to me, in hindsight, probably made the best idea to ask for his release and go on and build a name for himself in the independents, because his stock is higher now than it ever has been. And if he would have stayed with WWE and we would have got this, there would have been a ceiling on this gimmick, no question. No question. And before he left, WWE did not want to let Cody be himself. As he is now, WWE did not want that in their company. They did not want to give Cody anything creative to work with. They wanted him to remain as Stardust. And that's fucked up, because you're holding the guy back from showcasing his true talent, which he's doing now. And like I said, WWE probably looks like a bunch of fucking idiots for letting Cody go, because he proved every fucking one of them wrong. And you know how they probably fucking hate that. Triple H was proved wrong. Not Goldust, Vince McMahon was proved wrong. So now when Cody's a free agent, will he ever come back to the WWE? I believe so. I believe so. I think he could. I think he would do phenomenal on SmackDown Live. Cody versus AJ, Cody versus Zayn, Cody versus Owens. The list goes on and on. Cody versus Naka, Cody versus Ty. You know? Cody made the right decision here, but that is a very interesting idea, but it does have a ceiling. It does have a ceiling. The Caitlyn idea with Damien Sandow, whatever. You know, we've seen that storyline done over and over and over again. It would have been a new spin on something that was incredibly popular back in the day. I would have been interested in it, but like I said, it would have had an expiration date. No question. The Revival. Update on when they are expected to return to WWE television. Now, Dash Wilder of the Revival, as you guys know, suffered a broken jaw just a few weeks ago. As a result, it was announced that the tag team would be out for the next several months as he recovers. 2 months to be exact. This was disappointing to many fans, as they just had made their debuts on the main roster for Raw. Scott Dawson posted an injury update on the tag team, saying that it's been 2 weeks exactly since Wilder had his jaw wired shut. He says that the team is expected to be back on Raw in 6 weeks. He says that the team plans to be right in the mix for the Raw Tag Team Championships when they do return. This is what Scott Dawson had to say.
So over the course of a couple of weeks, I've got a lot of tweets and a lot of messages, and a lot of people actually coming up to me because I'm a celebrity now on national TV, and they're wondering, hey, what's the progression of Dash Wilder and how is he feeling? Well, Dash is one of the toughest men I've ever met in my entire life, and that's why he's my best friend, and I keep him by my side.
He's got a Monday Night Revival shirt on
in 2 straight
the font
weeks that
of
he's
the
had
old
his
school
jaw
Raw logo.
Completely wired shut, man. No food, which has really made him mad. It's just a liquid diet, and he can't speak a word. And he's still got 4 more weeks of a jaw that's completely wired shut. Can't open it, can't move his mouth. But he wanted me to pass along a message to all of you people. He wrote it down. He scribbled on a piece of paper for me to read. He just wanted me to remind you that the top guys, the Mercedes-Benz of the tag team division, the Revival, Monday Night Revival, I like that shirt,
man.
We're not here to win a popularity contest. Okay, we're not here to please you, fan. We're not here to please the people at home. We're not here to please the boys in the back. And right now, speaking of the boys in the back, they're over in Europe and they're having the time of their lives. While me and Dash have to sit home and wait. And we would love to be over there, kill it for you guys. But instead, you got to see Enzo and Cass, and you got to see the club, and you got to see everybody else except for the Mercedes-Benz of the tag team division, the MVPs of the WWE, the Revival. But guys, in 6 more weeks. 6 more weeks. It's my plan. It's Dash's plans. It's the Revival's plan to make as much money as we possibly can. We got a family to feed, okay? And the way to make the most money that we can is to become the WWE Raw Tag Team Champion. So whomever that may be in 6 weeks, you got to deal with Monday Night Revival. But for now, just for 6 more weeks, I say to you, top guys, out.
I can't wait for them to get back, man. I really can't. I think they're great. They are the team that I actually pitched to you guys to break the Hardys, because it's just in them to do that type of thing. I will have news on the Hardys tomorrow. Apparently TNA filed for trademark for Broken Matt Hardy, Brother Nero, and Vanguard 1. I don't know what the fuck is going on. This is the latest that I heard as of this morning. Meanwhile, we've been reporting, and everybody's been reporting, that the Hardys are about to become broken on WWE television. I don't know what is being said now. Rebby came out and says that nothing is concrete. Don't listen to anybody. WWE is in the midst of negotiations with Anthem and Impact Wrestling to get the gimmick. But if this goes on any longer, I don't know. It's just massively confusing right now. We may not even see the broken gimmick in WWE at all after this latest stunt by TNA. I'll have news on that tomorrow. It's not in my notes right now for today's episode, but I will give you the story and the full scoop on what is going on with the Hardy Boys tomorrow on part 3 of Off the Script. Now, speaking of Payback, the pay-per-view was Sunday. If you guys missed the review, link is in the annotation you'll see in the top right corner there. Go check it out. The House of Horrors. As you guys know, I ripped it apart. I enjoyed it for a little bit, and then it just became completely illogical, filled with logic gaps all over the place. People were like, oh, just enjoy it for what it is, and blah, blah, blah. Listen, it was sloppily put together. You cannot commend WWE on how shitty it really came out to be, okay? Now, Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, they fought all over the house. It turned into a real match in the SAP Center in San Jose. Sorry about that. Let me mute my phone. They fought all over the house and turned it into a real-life match at the SAP Center in San Jose. The match has received a fair amount of criticism online. Video surfaced of the live crowd chanting boring at the segment that was taped inside the house, while it played on the big screen inside the arena. On a recent episode of his podcast, The Steve Austin Show, he gave, Stone Cold did, his thoughts on the match. It turns out that he was a big fan. Here's what he had to say on it. I watched this as a fan, and I watched these guys start to scrap inside the house. I thought it was really shot well, which it was. I'm not going to take it away from them. It was. I thought it was edited really well. It was. The music was there. The score was there. It was almost cinematic. Yes, I agree, up until that point. The guys working in the house, they did everything that they could. It was shot as well as it could be shot. I thought it executed damn near to perfection. So, not everybody was as critical about the match. Austin clearly wasn't. He was more on the positive side, but, you know, Austin is just, you know, he's giving his opinion. That's his opinion on it. I guess he didn't want to dive into it anymore. We went into it, and we really kind of nailed it home as far as logic goes. But listen, you would have enjoyed it if you watched it as a wrestling fan. But when some things are just so blatant, thrown right in your face, it's tough not to speak out on them, man. It's very tough to ignore them. And you guys know what I had a problem with that match. So I'm not going to go over it again. That's exactly what I think of it. My opinion stands on what I think of the House of Horrors match. Batista's in the news. And Batista has a new movie coming out. I believe is out. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Batista comments on missing wrestling, but not the WWE and their bullshit. Ooh. Batista burning bridges over here, man. Batista was recently a guest on the Talk is Jericho podcast, hosted by Chris Jericho. I have not listened to that yet. He spoke on a wide variety of topics from his current movie, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and even some about his professional wrestling career. Batista was asked if he misses wrestling, which he says he does. He only doesn't miss WWE and the bullshit that comes along with it. I quote, "Yeah, I miss it a lot. There's nothing like it. You know that. There's just an adrenaline rush that goes along with it. What I don't miss is the company, to be honest with you. I don't miss WWE. I miss wrestling. I just don't miss dealing with the company and its bullshit. Yeah, it's the bullshit, man. It's just too much bullshit." He also says that he asked to come back to WWE in the past but was rejected. His idea is that he would have feuded with Triple H and it would serve as his retirement. I've asked for what I wanted. I'll tell you, and I've talked to Hunter about it, and I've talked to Vince about it. I said I would come back and run a whole program with Hunter. That's the only thing I'm interested in doing. They're just not interested in it right now. Jericho also asked if he would like to work with anybody else. At this point, no, because it would be my retirement thing. It would be what I would want it to be, and I want to go out the way I want. I would come back, and I'd do the whole program, and then I would be done. So we all knew what Batista felt. He's been very adamant about the bullshit, in the WWE. He's been outspoken about what happens and what happened with his last run. He was promised something. He came in at a wrong time, and it wasn't even his fault. It wasn't even his fault. It was all WWE's fault for not opening their fucking eyes and seeing that Daniel Bryan should have been the one to win the Royal Rumble. Should have won the Royal Rumble, bro. Should have been Batista. Whatever the case may be, Batista still, like a man, went out there and did a commendable job, man. He lasted all the way up till WrestleMania. He actually tapped out to Daniel Bryan. He made Daniel Bryan look better than fucking ever. He beat 2/3 of Evolution in one night. Actually, he beat all of Evolution in one night. But he beat 2/3 of Evolution in the main event. He beat Orton and Batista and made Batista tap to the yes lock. Batista even put over the Shield before he went out and said, "I'm done." So you can't really knock Batista for WWE's bullshit. He was promised something. He was promised the Rumble. He was promised the main event at WrestleMania with Randy Orton. He was promised the world title. None of that happened because WWE fucked up. Because they did not listen to the fans. It was right in front of them and they wanted to be ignorant. I don't blame Batista for calling WWE out on their bullshit, because their bullshit is very much apparent. Moving on here, man. I got how deep are we into this thing, man? We got 30 minutes. We got 2 more stories here, because I honestly don't have a lot for the weekend. I do not have a lot for the weekend, man. You got no news. You got no news here. Possible creative plans to break Asuka's undefeated streak revealed. Now, this is quite interesting. For over a year and a half, the Empress of Tomorrow has remained undefeated in NXT and has become the longest reigning NXT champion in the brand's history. She's held the NXT Women's Championship for over a year, but the powers that be may have finally figured out who will be the one to finally give Asuka her first loss and take the title away from her. Rumor has it that those creative plans could happen this summer. In a few weeks, Asuka will defend the Women's Championship at NXT TakeOver Chicago against Nikki Cross, Ruby Riott, and Ember Moon. WWE officials could pull a major swerve and have her drop the Women's Championship during this title match, but the powers that be are likely saving that moment for TakeOver Brooklyn #3 in a few months. WWE officials will at least want to wait until Asuka breaks Goldberg's undefeated record. Like that fucking matters. Who cares? A fucking fake record. Who cares? Asuka's move to the main roster is only a matter of time, but she will likely drop the championship and put someone new over in NXT before leaving, because that is the right thing to do. I pitched the idea of Asuka versus Charlotte at WrestleMania 34 because that is the absolute biggest match you can have for the women at WrestleMania, okay? Especially for SmackDown. There is some speculation that Asuka may vacate the title without even being defeated and continue her undefeated streak on Raw or SmackDown, which I actually pitched that. I pitched that to a point where, I would not even have her lose, period. The winner of this tournament, this women's tournament coming up, would gain a #1 contendership out of all of it and challenge Asuka for the title. Asuka would then beat that woman, whoever lasted all 10 weeks in that tournament, and then she would vacate the title, and then she would go to SmackDown. She would get promoted. Then we would have, I don't know, I guess another fucking tournament, an 8-woman tournament with some of NXT's best for the title. Or if you want Asuka to just vacate the fucking title and just move her up and just have the tournament for the title. You know? Either way you look at it, you could do that. Either way you look at it, Asuka should remain undefeated. You know? Because you don't come across this all that often in WWE. Someone this dominant. I don't know. Some might agree, some might disagree. Some, you know, most of you probably agree that Asuka should lose. That she should do the job and job to whomever and drop the title and then move. And then continue her domination just the way she did in NXT on SmackDown. You know? Either way you look at it, either way could work. I'm not going to argue which is better or worse. Okay? Ever since Ember Moon debuted in NXT, the WWE Universe has been speculating with certainty that she'd be one to defeat Asuka and take the women's title from her. At NXT TakeOver Orlando, fans were shocked to see her fail to capture the title. Instead, her match was used to push forward a long overdue heel turn for Asuka. However, NXT fans still believe that Ember Moon will be the one to defeat Asuka very soon. The biggest reason Moon has good momentum as the foil to Asuka, and she seems to be the only wrestler in NXT's women's division that could believably beat her right now. Nikki Cross, Ruby Riott, and others just do not have the momentum for that win, but WWE officials may not be planning for anyone in NXT to defeat Asuka at all. Recently, WWE officials announced that there would be a massive women's tournament over the summer. The tournament will feature 32 of the top female competitors from around the world. The series will air on the WWE Network, just as the Cruiserweight Classic did last year. Like they did last year, officials are expected to sign several new female talents, which will tie directly into their plans for Asuka's first loss. It has been rumored that WWE officials are planning for the eventual winner of the women's tournament to receive an NXT Women's Championship match with Asuka at TakeOver Brooklyn this year. Last year, TJ Perkins was crowned the Cruiserweight Champion after winning the Cruiserweight Classic. Tyler Bate became the United Kingdom Champion after winning the UK tournament. This could be the plan for the female winner. WWE officials would need to be sure that this is a tremendous push to a debuting WWE superstar, especially a female taking over NXT and the NXT women's division seemingly overnight. Brooklyn this year is going to be big, as you guys know, and it could be the culmination of all this. Last year, you know, it was, let me see, I'm reading this wrong here. Someone will take over the women's division overnight. Asuka dominated NXT for almost 2 years. A new female coming into WWE winning the tournament and defeating Asuka is a massive push for anyone to receive. Could be the biggest thing in WWE right now, to be perfectly honest with you. Unfortunately, the 32 participants for the tournament haven't been revealed as of this writing, but WWE fans should be aware of the tournament because it could change everything, and it will change everything. This women's tournament will change everything for the landscape of women's wrestling in WWE. Raw will have new talent, SmackDown will have new talent, NXT will finally have a replenished females division. We're going to see new faces from the NXT brand be moved up. You know, we have Peyton Royce, Billie Kay could be moved up. It's going to be a big year for the women, and it's going to coincide with this women's tournament. So I can't wait to see what happens. Either way you look at it, it's gonna be big for somebody. It's gonna be big for Asuka because she's gonna be moving up. Asuka's gonna be immediately thrusted into plans for WrestleMania next year. That is the best thing that I think could come out of this. That's the biggest match you could do. Because by the time you get to WrestleMania, there's nobody on the women's roster that's going to give you a must-see, big-time match with Charlotte than Asuka. Because she would have already run through everybody. That is the idea that needs to be put to WrestleMania and made into a reality. Seriously. Becky versus Charlotte at SummerSlam is the biggest match you could do for SmackDown. Asuka versus Charlotte for WrestleMania is the biggest match that you could do for the women's division overall, period. For both Raw and SmackDown. But I can't wait to see who's in this tournament. I can't wait to see what they do with Asuka. And I can't wait to see what they do as far as her undefeated streak goes, man. You know, you could swing it either way. She could remain undefeated or she could lose. I think more people are gonna lean towards the side of she should lose and then just continue her dominance on the main roster because, you know, you got to give that woman who wins that tournament something. Not only the championship, but the right to defeat Asuka. I think that's a big enough prize for a 32-woman tournament, to be brutally honest with you. So either way, I'm okay with it. Either way, I'm okay with it. You know? Or you could just have Asuka be a badass and just fucking relinquish the title beforehand and say, listen, I ran through everybody. I'm done. I'm done. There is nobody else for me, and I don't want anybody else. Promote me. And the tournament could just be for the championship itself. But it's not going to have that, monumental feel. You know, Asuka losing to someone who wins this tournament will have a massive effect over everything. So I think that's the way WWE is going to swing this thing. The winner of this tournament is going to beat Asuka, and then Asuka is going to move up. I predict around SummerSlam, the night after SummerSlam, or the SmackDown after SummerSlam, I'm predicting Asuka will be on SmackDown Live. Finally, guys, we're going to end with this. New creative plans for Luke Harper and Erick Rowan revealed. Could be reforming a tag team on SmackDown Live. Clearly, this was one of the ways to go about this, being that Rowan is stuck in jobber purgatory, and Luke Harper was teased being in a WWE Championship feud and then just dropped off the face of the earth. So WWE now is thinking about starting all the way back from step one with Luke Harper and Erick Rowan. At the moment, former Wyatt family members Luke Harper and Erick Rowan are currently stuck in limbo on SmackDown, but there may be some creative plans to help them find purpose again on WWE television. Bray Wyatt moving to Raw during the Superstar Shakeup after WrestleMania 33 was a surprise to some because it felt, everybody felt, Harper and Rowan on their own, which would still be an opportunity for them to thrive on their own, you know? Or it left Harper and Rowan on their own, which still would have been an opportunity for them to thrive on their own. Over the past few weeks, Harper has been settling into his new role as a mid-card babyface. Harper has been not featured on WWE television at all, but he's working WWE live events consistently. Rowan returned from injury a few weeks ago and has wrestled a few matches. He's had some particularly strong matches with Randy Orton on SmackDown as of late, but his character doesn't have any direction at all. The two have been working together during WWE live events, which has led the WWE Universe to believe a rivalry is developing between them that could be featured on SmackDown sooner rather than later. I'm not really into that at all. The idea of Harper and Rowan reuniting as a tag team has also been discussed. Unfortunately, a new report has put those rumors to bed because it seems WWE officials are too busy focusing on other superstars right now. It's being reported that WWE officials have no imminent creative plans for Harper or Rowan on SmackDown Live, and both men will be used occasionally and have a match on WWE television, but it does not seem like their plans for them are to reunite in the tag team division or receive a singles push. Obviously, it is disheartening for them to be floating around without a purpose, but it's just a shame to see them get wasted. In particular, Luke Harper has the right to be frustrated with his position on SmackDown Live because of the way he was pushed and he was handled heading into WrestleMania 33. Out of nowhere, Harper was emerging as a main event player. He had strong matches with Randy Orton and AJ Styles, and Harper was on the cusp of being in the WWE title match with Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. Harper going from that push to nothing is incredibly frustrating, not only for him, but the fans who actually lobby to have Harper get a main event spot. A lot of people feel that Harper is being held back by the powers that be. A rivalry with Erick Rowan or another run with him as a tag team isn't where he was a few weeks ago, but it's better than floating around from match to match on SmackDown waiting for another push to happen. Most people are just confused how Harper went from almost being WWE champion on SmackDown to doing nothing at all. Erick Rowan has been working a new clown gimmick that we reported on Off the Script during WWE live events, which could be featured on television eventually. However, Rowan seems to be stuck in his mid-card heel role. WWE officials just don't seem to know how to present him as a character or to get him over with the universe. That has made it difficult for him to build any kind of real momentum for a singles run, especially on SmackDown. Luke Harper and Erick Rowan are just stuck in mid-card purgatory right now. Typically, WWE officials will force performers like them to feud with one another or team together to give them something to do. But apparently it seems like WWE officials aren't looking to do neither. Unfortunately, that means that Harper and Rowan just need to take what they're given and make the most of it. Above everything else, they need to be very patient. Now, I pitched the idea with Erick Rowan's new clown gimmick that I heard rumors of Crazy Steve coming in from Impact Wrestling. You know how he was a crazy clown with Abyss in Decay. Why don't you pair those two guys together? You know, if you are going to go out and get Crazy Steve, that would be a good heel tag team right there. You got the big, overpowering Erick Rowan, and you got the scrappy little guy in Crazy Steve who knows how to fucking wrestle. I think that's the best idea. Meanwhile, you have those guys do that, and you give Luke Harper a fucking mid-card push for the or for the U.S. title. I'd love to see a match with Kevin Owens and Luke Harper, or Ty Dillinger and Luke Harper, Sami Zayn and Luke Harper. You know, something along those lines. Luke Harper's got the talent to succeed and put on strong matches. What else does he got to do in 4 years to prove that he's ready for at least that type of role? Don't know why WWE holds back such quality talent and just rather than waste away, than use them, you know? It's the fact that WWE doesn't want them to go anywhere else. It's ridiculous. Rowan and Harper as a tag team, yeah, it makes sense, but it's like, it's telling them, listen, we got nothing for you, so we're just going to pair you again together. After Harper came out as a babyface, now he's going to team with a heel Rowan and start the team together. They need a new name, because they're not the Wyatt family anymore, with Wyatt being on Raw. I think my pitched idea is the absolute best way to go about it. He's got a new clown gimmick, does Rowan. Sign Crazy Steve, you know? Have them be this fucking insane fucking group, or this tag team. You get another heel tag team on there that is not Rowan and Harper, and you give Rowan a tag team partner that he could feed off of, and you give Harper a mid-card role. Have him fight for the U.S. title. Showcase him on SmackDown. I don't understand it. Simple for me to come up with a solution, but WWE just doesn't give a shit. You know, but that's the rumor going around right now for Luke Harper and Erick Rowan. Let me know what you guys think about that. And that is everything I got for Off the Script, man. Thank you guys so much. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. Subscribe to the YouTube channel down below and hit that bell for the notification. And please show some love to all the sponsors, man. Patreon.com/JDFROMNY206. AudibleTrial.com/OffTheScript. BarbershopWindow.com/OffTheScript. And TryLootCrate.com/OffTheScript. I'll be back tomorrow morning with part 3. Thank you guys so much. Hit that thumbs up. And I will be back tomorrow morning with Off the Script, part number 3. Enjoy your Saturdays. I'm JD, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for Off the Script.